Hello. Oh, God, that looks really loud. Maybe it's fine. Good morning, everybody, one and all. We're here. Good morning from not the same country that I broadcasted from just last week. Yeah, what I mean by that is, oh, Jack, good morning, dude. Yeah. Unfortunately, we've got secret police on the streets and DHS in the sheets. So, yeah, we're in a bad way. There's federally unlinked police in American cities, quote unquote, trying to quell the violence, but just throwing people into vans and stuff. And who knows? Are they being charged with crimes? Were they doing anything? There's no body cam footage. There's nothing because they're secret. So they only answer to I assume the executive branch, actually, because it's a DHS thing. But I don't know. So we're not in the same spot as we were. Good morning. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like I say, you don't get to choose when the place that you live becomes something else, right? Like, I understand that people are probably pretty indifferent to whatever's going on, but I think the second that you have secret police, you can have covert police. You can have city police, state police, covert stuff going on. I mean, they created the SWAT, whatever. Like, I don't mean to break off in the morning and just immediately start talking about this, but let's face facts. It's a cartoon. People don't understand that the SWAT team wasn't something that always existed. It started to become something that existed in the 60s because of the Black Panthers and a little operation called COINTELPRO, where the federal military got involved with city and state police, which created the SWAT division of any sort of policing precinct, which means they were militarily trained. They just were given like military grade guns, military grade vehicles, weapons, and then were charged with invading homes as they saw fit. I mean, that's who killed Fred Hampton. They're like, oh, it was just police, and it was them working with the feds. Anyway, so now we have a new police. That's the whole thing. Is depending on how this rolls out, it's just going to be a new one. There's some little chode toady who looks like Rudolph Diels, who was the progenitor of the first Gestapo captain. Yeah. Well, the thing is that all of this stuff is not going to just be happening in Portland. They plan on rolling it out to the entire country. So that means that if you protest, they say it's to protect federal buildings and federal statues, monuments and stuff like that. But as we can see, they're just like knocking people off of bikes and just putting them in vans and then driving away. I don't know how serious it is. That right there is serious enough, but I don't know how really serious it is. Like what's really going to happen. Like, again, my question is, are these people being charged? What are they being charged with? How do we know? Like, the thing is that they're not booked in a normal way because they're not police. They're apparently responding or communicating only with the federal level sort of stuff. There's no taking you downtown. They're taking them to a federal holding facility, or maybe obviously the cops are working with them. But anyway, it's a scary stuff. So welcome to the first day of something else. They could, well, yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that they could be disappeared very easily. And what recourse do you take? Because we don't even know the rules of engagement for these supposed officers. You know, there's plenty of like ex-military dudes and like colonels who have already gotten on and been like, they don't need to be wearing fatigues. Fatigues are for, you know, land skirmishes, blah 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 blah. But nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares. I mean, people care, but they're not. What are you gonna do? Like, the thing is that my question is, and maybe I shouldn't say this on the stream. It's a question. I have no idea because nobody knows what's going on. I don't want to look at this guy's dumb face. Is what are the rules of engagement? These aren't normal cops. In name, they're cops, but nothing. They're not constrained to any like state law. They constrained to federal law. We have no idea. They say it says police in military fatigues on their uniforms, but they're not police. I mean, it's a name that they just put on there, right? It's Department of Homeland Security. And so what are the rules of engagement? Like, obviously you can just be thrown into a van, you know, without being handcuffed or anything like that, or just forcibly done. So that's already different. Do they need probable cause? Is it just profiling because of what you're wearing or something? Didn't some kid get shot in the head because they were like shooting impact rounds or whatever into random crowds? Like, this, dude, this is a joke. This shit is a joke. And I think instead of being political about any of it, because it's not, this is now different. This is a step in a weird, different direction. You know, protect monuments and stuff like that. Keeping law and order. So instead of listening to the obvious like cries of the people for police reform, defunding their platform, and creating a new civil service to support communities as opposed to terrify them, you say no and you just send in then the secret police. Like, that's the response. It's just boneheaded. The thing is yeah, it's terrible. It's tyrannical. It's all the buzzwords you want to talk about. It's all the things that everybody wants to scream about to feel like, you know, something. They want to feel something when they scream about it. But the thing is that this is it's worse than that, right? It doesn't. Being impassioned about it doesn't mean anything, because now looking at it square, dead on, anybody who studies any political science, history, anything like that, like, this is now different. This is now 1,000% different. We'll see what happens. More like I'll be. I mean, who knows what kind of weird lists I'm on. It's just terrible, man. Really, I don't know what to. I don't know how to. Like, it's very scary to me. Only because, yeah, you risk your life by engaging. That's what's at stake. So it's fear tactic, it's terror, it's all that stuff. It's Gestapo shit. This is basic. And they do this stuff in Brazil, Colombia, you know, South and Central America. It's like of course there's a bunch of like military linked regimes and false governments that you just silence the opposition. It's obviously, again, buzzword, anti-democratic, but it literally is by its very nature. There's no due process. There's no trial. Who knows? I don't know. I'm still trying to wait for a journalist to have covered this to let us know. And I guess they're not. They don't know. Nobody's talking. So if I wanted to know what it was like living in Weimar, I guess we now know from experience. Dude. Anyway, happy Saturday. Let's try to laugh and giggle and eat all the cookies in the cookie jar. I hope you got your coffee, everybody. It's a beautiful Saturday morning regardless, because we're alive. Let's try to stay alive. Oh yeah, they got that pandemic on too. Yeah, okay. I don't know. You know. The only word that I know in this entire thing right here is homosexualidade. Okay, that's not a funny joke, I guess. Oh, this is a tragedy here. 1 week until your reduction surgery. Let's see what we got. Well, you know, you gotta do it. If you gotta do it, you gotta do it. It's a shame, but you gotta do it. I don't want to see eggs in a bowl of ice water. R.I.P. John Lewis, hero. You know, pretty big civil rights movement guy. I don't want to keep talking about this, but I just feel that it's important. You know, a knee-jerk reaction to anything where it's like, don't take down my statue of Columbus or Getty Lee, Robert E. Lee or Stonewall Jackson, or like, you know, these forefathers. It's like, yeah, it's the same argument as, very similar to the Confederate flag argument, where it's like, it means many things, but to a very specific group of people that, you know, deserve to be acknowledged, it's a kind of a painful thing to be around it. So the knee-jerk reaction is, F you, these guys did nothing wrong, you know, like, well, they did stuff wrong, but they are also, like, you know, they're also the forefathers of the country and stuff like that. You should love George Washington, etc., etc. Yeah, I get it that what they did is important, but I guess my only counter argument, and really this is the only thing, is that we could probably find a way to pick really great monuments and statues to look up to, right? Beyond just the people who were sons of dentists, you know, land-owning, slave-owning sort of people who decided to do the right. I mean, again, I don't know about, you know, pulling down statues of certain people, because I'm like, yeah, they did bad stuff, and there's no excusing that at all. This is not apologizing for any of that stuff, but you know, some of these guys, they turned around, right? They got rid of their slaves, or, you know, they worked for a legislature to get rid of it, stuff like that. I mean, obviously everybody just, you know, now understanding that it wasn't as clean a break as they think it is, and yes, that's bullshit. Human beings are pretty much disgusting, and they have a capacity for not being that. And I think there is something to be said about the fact that these monuments are of people who were attempting to do the right thing. You know, making a monument is a big deal, and then revering it is one thing, but really it's just a place for pigeons to crap on, and it makes something look nice. So it's not that serious, but again, it can be. But I have to say that there is an element of these monuments that are worth discussing in terms of, yes, they did bad things, they also did good things, and perhaps they died trying to do good things. There, you know, that's a case, right? So, but more to the point is that we could probably figure out better ones. So John Lewis, you know, dying, for example, you could probably make a statue of that guy, Malcolm X or something, right? I mean, like, you could replace these busts and these with things people we all are maybe admire, we can admire, right? Like, I always said it would be cool, like that Francis Scott Key monument got pulled down in Golden Gate Park, which is near where I live, and I'm like, you know, the Shakespeare Gardens right there, man, put up like a big old statue of like Orson Welles. I mean, this guy was a humanitarian, you know, genius, creative type, you know, yeah, guy who did a lot of amazing things, especially through media. I mean, everything he did was somewhat political, obviously, and that's why he got blacklisted. But you know, that dude ushered in a whole new era of media via radio and film. That's a pretty big deal, especially now because everybody's so hell-bent on the importance of lying news media. It's like, it seems to be the fight of our day, right? And if we've passed the colonial stuff and we don't really want to celebrate that, we could probably think of better role models from the country to put up to decorate our landscape. That's a conversation, right? But people are just more upset about it happening. I'm like, shit happens. It happened. Time to do something then, right? So the same with the police thing, right? People are like, yo, this shit's got to stop. You can't kill people anymore. You're not getting this much money. We don't want it and stuff like that. We want to create new things. And now the state's like, well, we're not creating anything new. That's it. Like, come on. Like, it's a sadness. It's 1,000% the biggest sad. And I don't really know what to do with it. We don't. What? John Lewis was in a Jeezy video? Holy shit, he was. Amazing. Dude, okay, so I love a lot of music. I love lots of different music. And Jeezy, sure, I like it. I've never gone in because you kind of hear it and you're like, okay, I know what it's about and there's better music. But what I always like to do in videos, all videos now, is watch what human beings do with their hands. It's the weirdest thing. Like these moves, I get when they make the handgun puppets, when they just go like this and they like peel caps and stuff like that. I get that, and that I guess is pretty obvious. But it's all the other ones where it's like, I don't understand human beings. I don't understand why they get involved in stuff like that, and then they imitate those things. It's just weird. Ew! Oh my god. So in this, that's a really bizarre photograph of Bill and Billery. Ugh! Okay, good morning, y'all. What's up? That diatribe about the weird new nation state that we're in this morning is over. We just are. We've got some problems. We've got terrible shit going down. Feel free to let me know how you feel about it, but also, God, can we talk about something else? Like, who's got Ghost of Tsushima? Because I can't wait to play that. I pre-ordered it 2 months ago in May, and it's gonna take 7 days from Amazon to get here. So I got some time to wait. I'm gonna play Chrono Trigger in the meantime. Yeah, I stream during the week, pretty much at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to tune in and hang out. This guy right here, this account, I hate this account. I love Moby Dick, and it's not his words, it's Herman Melville's words, but the way this bot or this human being selects these lines is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. This is a sentence fragment, and it's always vaguely sexual. You know what I mean? So he's taking Nantucket inspired words and just pulling them out of context. Under his pillow, rush herds of walruses and whales. I don't know. Just vaguely sexual. I mean, the book, I guess, is one thing, but... Oh, God, let's keep it funny. Oh, boy. Meryl Streep. I thought it was really funny in a Letterboxd review that I had where I watched The Bridges of Madison County, which is Meryl Streep and Clint Eastwood. And the movie's good, by the way. It's really strange. It's a movie from the bygone era. in its content and form. There's this really weird, this really strange story arc with the kids who find the basically like the journal of their mother, who was had this like weekend sort of excursion that turned into this like blossoming unrequited love between this artistic photographer guy while her husband like was away with the kids on a business trip. And so they're reading like the journal or the diary, and it's like very, very incestuously sexual in a real bad way. That's only about 15 minutes of the movie. The rest is Meryl Streep and Clint Eastwood. But I thought it was funny in my Letterboxd review where I was like, the hottest, steamiest, sexiest film with the thinnest lips in the game, because they both got some thinnest lip. There's nothing wrong with having thin lips. It's just funny when like both people, they're like, I would say one of their main features is like thin lips. I don't know why that's even important. It's not important. It's just an observation. I think it's funny. Hey man, we're all different, okay? We're all different, and it's okay to be different. That's it. If somebody notices the difference, it doesn't mean anything other than, hey, that's cool. I enjoy the spice and variety of life. That's it. That's all it is. Thinnest lips in the game. Look, this lady's getting stinko. Let's get stinko. Oh, there are more hand gestures. Whoa, cool. What? I'm gonna have to read this later. A new form of magnetic navigation is so accurate that it might supersede GPS for aerial navigation. Cool. Magnetiverse based on diamonds. Oh no, based on diamonds? Oh no! Are they making a weird techno economy with diamonds? Oh god. Diamonds. Oh, dude. Isn't this guy's whole role right here at the nerd school just to call people Nazis? I don't even know. I didn't care enough to even go into it. I didn't even care. Literally. We just scroll on. Valentino Rossi. Motociclette. Tubi? Tubi's pretty bad. Diane Keaton directed oh, what? Wait, is this new? Man, I love Diane Keaton. What a weird, kooky, honky lady. Oh! Why did it just jam me up and higher up in my timeline? What's up with that? I don't want to go through this trash again. Man, somebody's just coming in quick with a joke here. On the Twitter feed. Just come on, please. Everybody's just like... Like, what is... I couldn't... Here's the issue with Twitter. Is that I couldn't understand what these people are talking about. Their reply was, or could be the complete opposite. If you're going to a shitty school with shitty educators, yes. Don't even know. Couldn't have any idea. This lady, though, everybody, if you like big boobs, pretty, she's got it. Just saying. Just saying. What nobody tells you about surviving a shark attack? What? That you have a big scar? Fighting off a massive shark wasn't the hardest part. It was what came after. No shit. When your leg's gone, or like your torso's like bit in half and you gotta heal, I bet that's probably more difficult than 15 seconds of hot murderous action. My God. What physicist wrote this? Jesus, is it really that? Like, dude, we have secret police in Portland that are going to be unrolled to the rest of the United States, and this is the newsworthy item that they're going to be writing about. What nobody tells you about surviving a shark attack. What about what nobody tells you about hitting in the face with a tear gas canister and losing your eye? I think that might be actually more interesting and potentially more applicable to your life, especially now in this day and age, in this century, in this year, in this month. Oh, they're reaching. They almost got me with this one. A John Wick clue led Italian police to intercept a package of cocaine coffee beans. A John Wick clue? What? That there are criminals? What possibly could have been the clue? Like, how many times have we seen not a heist movie? It's just a drug movie, right? Like it's basically a UPS movie, is what they should be called. Where like like Miami Vice, where you're just trying to figure out what the logistical line is of like how the drugs come in, and then when they get there, how they manipulate the drugs, dilute them, and then sell them on the streets. It's like we're literally watching a logistical supply chain of like the likes of UPS or DHL or something like that. It's like, so the John Wick clue that led Italian police to intercept. What could the clue have been? Did they like? See, I want to find out, but I'm also just like, dude, cocaine coffee beans. How many times have you seen in those movies I was talking about, the UPS movies, where a dude stabs, some one bag of a giant pallet of stuff, and coffee beans spill out or something, and then they dig further and there's like a big brick of cocaine or heroin. It happens all the time. At least probably 1,000 movies a year have that in there. Took John Wick for these cops to get savvy, huh? Okay, I'm obviously everybody knows that I'm just going off the headline. I don't actually know. I'm just spitballing. But like that's the thing. It's like this John Wick clue. It's like, if it were that sensational of a story, you'd probably talk about just figuring out the cocaine scheme in general. Like the only way, like the access point that you're just going to get people to click on it is that like they've seen John Wick. Really? I would also like to note that the reason that I'm analyzing any of these headlines is because I used to do this for a very shady company in terms of clickbait and article and content creation. And that's the whole thing, is that this seems like something that's like, hey, I love the angle, but it's betrayal. But it's weak betrayal. It's worse than betrayal. It's weak betrayal. He's dead. That guy died. Just kidding. He didn't die. Cannibal Corpse. I love Can Be Corpsey. Oh, we're out of music. We need more music. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to do this. Where the fuck is Miller Avenue? Come on, man. Come on. Oh, Vantage. Do it. This is just fun music. Everything about you. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? If you got coffee, raise a glass. Cheers, mate. Clink. We're just running through the old twit here, looking at these cartoons emerge before our eyes. Not as good as the old school ones, but pretty funny still. Just Clown Town all the way. Big old clown shoes. Oh, no doy. Face rising opposition. Well, man, there's so... I basically stayed up last night just reading as much as I could about any of this stuff. and there's so much unknown. There's so much that none of these journalists know and that people don't know, and there's a lot of speculation, obviously, because we can't have somebody soberly looking at something and delivering pertinent facts. They always have to, prep our mind for consumption of these complex ideas. It's bullshit. A lot of people are saying that Trumpy, President Chimp, Cheeto in Chief, hard ass dudes, are doing it to basically arrest people that wouldn't vote for him, and to kind of, bolster his base, to see like, yeah, do something about these Antifa jerks. And it's just like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But also, I mean, is this the dry run for when he doesn't get reelected? And AJ Barr is like, we need to do something to save this country. It's in jeopardy. It's like, dude, you've had control of this thing for 4 years. If it took you 4 years and you couldn't get it out of jeopardy, it's probably time to go. That's probably it. It's probably time to vamoose. These are like just the most obvious thing that you could think about any of this stuff. It's like, I remember one dude was like, I think it was Barr. Again, he was like, Pence. That fucking Palpatine Emperor Sith Lord jerkwad. Like, he said, you won't be, like, he was quoted, obviously, in some sort of roundabout way, that you won't be safe in Biden's America. It's like, dude, I'm not safe now. If I go outside, I have like a 3% chance of getting this disease that's going to ravage my insides to affect me later on in life. It's like, I'm not safe now, dude. We'll literally take anything other than you chump weasels. Chump weasels. Just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't even know what to say. It's just nuts. Who? I don't even know. I don't even care. Yeah, not a lot of jokes on the old feed today. Oh God. Oh Lord. Just the words. The T-Rex with fluff who wanted to be tough. Let us continue, shall we? Dude, I have a real big bone to pick with all the time with movies and books and TV and stuff. We generally, and I'm not trying to be cynical, generally, I can make a case that it's all very boring and very bad because of its exhibition, right? Like, I'm inspired by this children's book that I know nothing about. It could be good, but it's like the T-Rex with fluff who wanted to be tough, right? It's a book for kids about a T-Rex directly aimed at them. Kids can't buy books, right? That's number one. Kids can't buy books. Nobody goes to a bookstore anyway anymore. So it's really like word of mouth. This stuff spreads between parents. Like, it's the same thing with dog food. Like, the stuff that are made for kids, obviously you don't realize it, but you're the target. If you've got nieces, nephews, if you have kids yourself, it's like, obviously, I mean, everybody understands this. So then in the execution of these things, it's always sort of like really demeaning, because the language is not, they beat around the bush, they do this, but it's also like direct hand-holding stuff. It's like, it's boring, right? And it's demeaning in general. I'm being way too general about this shit. Needless to say, I hate it all. I hate it all, and the reason people are pissed is because they're fucking bored, because entertainment is not challenging. They watch it, they consume it, and then they shit it right out of their body. It does not enrich their life. There is no meaning to it, other than figuring out who done it, and then once you find out who done it, there's no greater call, right? Dude, and the only reason I'm upset about this more than I usually am is because I've been watching nothing but movies from the 50s to the 70s. In this sort of golden age of like challenge and bizarre abstract art that is punishing in the best way possible, right? It's punishing in that it requires you to be interested in it, but it also, you can benefit from engaging with these things. And they're there's so much inside of them that you're like, well, what are these? For example, I rewatched all Fellini's movies, and I talked about this I think last week, and Agnes Varda movies, and now I'm like kind of rolling through all of not Bugsy, Warren Beatty movies, and it's like you watch some of these things, and like they're so expertly done, and it's so triumphantly different and full of human life and complexity, that then you watch anything that has come out in the last 20 years in terms of film, and it's like jarringly sad. Jack Baby, yeah. You need, like, if you have the Criterion channel, the Criterion movie channel, you can watch them all, and I would not actually recommend watching them all back to back. What I do is I basically assign like 3 to 4 days out of the week where it's like I'm going to watch like this director's work, like that's it, right? And I do it at like 6 p.m. right? So I basically like watch half of it, go eat dinner with my family, and then maybe finish it later, right? Because they're massively dense, and because they're so well made, is that you can literally dip in. You can stop the movie at any time. That's kind of a good place to do it, and then go right back to it. And within 2 minutes of framing, lighting, content, dialogue, you are right back where you were, because they're done so expertly, right? Yeah, dude, get that account, man. I'm a charter member. The second Filmstruck was gone, I immediately copped right to Criterion, which I think is they just like did a flip flop. But dude, I'm having I on my letterbox I go through and review all these things. I try to, but a lot of the times you finish any Fellini movie, it's like Juliet of the Spirits and stuff like that, and you're just like, what can you say? There's so much stuff going on, and plus it's like it. They don't operate the same way. You could talk like till you're blue in the face about the technical qualities or the childlike script of like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like any idiot with eyeballs and a tongue could talk about those movies for like an hour or something like that, and it would just pretty much be reliving the movie, right? And you would be like, I've covered it, you know what I mean? Like, and that's true because they're about this deep, right? Unfortunately, if they're well made, that's fine, but they don't enrich your life. They're just kind of these things. It's like if Stephen King made the cheeseburger novel, then Marvel makes the cheeseburger movie. You eat this thing and you shit it out. Like a book is obviously different because it requires so much of you and a lot of your time and effort and stuff like that. But yeah, dude, exactly. What are you going to say about Satyricon? What are you actually going to say about it? Like, where do you start? The only thing that I can ever start to talk about when it comes to these is like Fellini's Italianness, the way in which he is Italian and Catholic. Like that's obviously the biggest parts of his oeuvre, but not in a direct way. These are things that are just part of his stories because it's what he's familiar with, the country that he's grown up in, and the tradition of obviously Italian operas and the passion of those things, right? So you can start there. It doesn't even begin to cover what's inside. Like, it's not even the tip of the iceberg. It's a fleck of a molecule in terms of these things. They're so poured over and so rich that you watch anything now and you're like, dude, just the exhibition of these things is so dead. It's so devoid. It's such a job. None of these films are fun to watch, man. You know what I mean? Like, we all fawned over Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and because it's kind of poured over, you know, at the end of the day, I don't really know if you could, if it enriches anybody's life, right? One, because it's pure fantasy, and two, because the content, it's like, is it about friendship? Well, yes, because they're friends in it, and they, you know, there's a dynamic, like a working dynamic and a friendship dynamic. But in terms of the relevance or what it means for people in general, no, because it's cartoonish and comical and pulpy. And that's not, I mean, you know, that's not to say that it's bad, but it's just, it's totally lacking conviction and sincerity in the way that these old masters were so in tune with, you know? It's really, it's just something, man. It's the dynamic. If you juxtapose these things, like if you went and watched Fellini and then watched like Riddick or something, like they're totally different, obviously, but think about them in, like, you know, in form of execution, the way they tell a story, you know, the scenes that you're given, like everything in a modern movie is so empirically accurate to help an audience see it and understand it, right? Understand the plot, not be confused, be entertained, all this other stuff, jokes and everything like that. But it's just dead. It's just a container with all. It's just a container of all of these miscellaneous garage sale toys, right? That's what movies are now. Back in the day, it's like they're paintings, right? Like, I mean, not to keep going on about this, but you know, I've been watching a lot of my favorite samurai movies in preparation for Ghost of Tsushima, and obviously you're going to watch a lot of Akira Kurosawa movies. But this guy used to paint a massive wall-sized abstract painting and then also paint his scenes, right? And then if anybody in production was like, you know, what are we doing? Like, where, like, you know, why are we doing this scene? Or, you know, very normal production, like, level questions, script supervisors, Toho probably coming in and stuff like that. He would just, like, point at the painting and be like, well, that's where we're going. That's what we're going to do. Don't you understand? And it's like, that's the only way to handle things creatively, in my opinion. That's the only thing that's going to bring you to a place to create something that's worthwhile and enriching. It has to be abstract in a less abstract way, in somebody's sort of visionary way. The way that we do it now is like they're instruction manuals. Like these stories, you know, you watch television and it's painful. The methodology is so severe and so constrained, right? People think that it's a sign of a good show, and it's like, perhaps if your only reason for watching a television show is to forget your life for an hour and then do that once a day or once a week, right? Sorry, I don't know. Maybe it's because I want a little bit more because of the tradition that we have in film and media of these things being quite impactful and important and meaningful. I don't want the Doritos of that stuff. I love Doritos, but I don't want to eat those all the time. You can't eat that for a real meal. You know what I mean? You gotta go source your ingredients from your local farm or something and grill that shit yourself. Cut it up. You have to do that. You know, engage. Like I want things that are engaged. And no, I'm not talking about Gasper. Fucking no. I do not like that guy. Yeah, dude. Twitch, I'll agree. I don't know. The thing is that I think he's disinterested in making movies for anybody other than himself. I feel like when he was a young dude, you could tell when he would talk about movies or any of those things that like he was really focused on proving himself, making his ideas and things worthwhile for other people. And now that we all agree that the guy is really good at what he does, you know, like Hateful Eight is like he wanted to write a play, but he's like, I'll do a movie because they're gonna pay me for it. And he did both. Like basically he wanted to make a play. He's been doing the road show of it. It's gonna continue to go on, and like that's what he wanted. But he's like, I can also make a movie. I think with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think he just loves that world. He just loves his childhood, or he's going through, I don't know, maybe he's got therapy or something like that. But yeah, it doesn't feel like it had any sort of pertinence to like anybody else in a real tangible way. Like I always want to see like a Quentin Tarantino action movie. I guess he did Kill Bill, or not action movie, but like science fiction movie. But I think there are some things that like he knows that he can't do. Like he can do like a comical, violent drama sort of thing, but I don't think he can. I don't think he can deal with like weird abstractions, right? Pointless abstractions. You know, I think he knows that's not a strength of his or something, or he's maybe like worried that it just wouldn't be worthwhile, right? So if he's going to spend $1 billion, he's going to do what he's good at, right? He's not going to take a chance. I mean, should he? Yeah, obviously. People taking chances are always way cooler. I don't know if anybody knows Albert Pyun out there, but he's a guy that did Nemesis. He did a Captain America movie. God, I mean, nobody's going to know Radioactive Dreams and stuff like that, but he's done a lot of like really bad B movies. Some chubby Hawaiian guy who like came to Hollywood and like started making all these movies and repurposing sets and using the same actors and stuff like that. Like that dude's entire career is classified by his ability to take risks. They weren't massive risks, but it's like he, you know, return on investment is the risk that he's taking in terms of like just making something that he's never done before. Like, dude, he did Swords and Sorcery. You watch that movie and it's like he didn't get final cut, but you watch it and you're like, damn, this is insanely weird. Wow, Jack's seen Radioactive Dreams. That's amazing. I love it. Well, the whole thing is that like, yeah, sometimes you get stinkers and movies don't mean anything when they suck until way later, so nobody's gonna spend money on that, so it's a risk. But like there's just other ways, I guess, to take a risk. There's other ways to just, you know, when you feel yourself, if you've ever written anything or even created anything, you're probably going through it and like you feel like you're like, oh, I'm doing what, you know, the effective way of like writing this character, or the effective way of like exhibiting this sort of theme you're trying to do. And it's formulaic because you've seen it. Other people have done it and they've done it well. You have a choice as somebody who creates any of this stuff that you can do the new thing. You're like, I'm gonna try to do this. That's always more interesting. Like bad movies, there are bad movies, and then there are bad movies that are amazing because these dudes were like, I want this. I don't want to do the other thing. I'm doing this weird thing that I have this idea for. There's some people that are able to do it all the time, and it's very cool. They get shit on a lot, but like that Ridley Scott guy is a dude that does that. He always is able to handle stuff in a challenging way. It's fun. Wait, you gave it to your friend as a joke? You had Radioactive Dreams on VHS, and you gave it to a friend as a joke? Baby, I wish that I were that friend at that time. And the joke was on me because I would still have that VHS. I think the DVD for it now is like $400 or something because there's only like 100 of them out there. And people are like, oh, this movie doesn't suck. It's weird and stupid, but it's like, whoa. Like Nemesis, dude. Albert Pyun's Nemesis. Holy lord, that movie rips, dude. Like it's straight up. It's just a brutal, weird movie. That's good. That's your basic science fiction cyborg Matrix style sort of trench coat, sunglass wearing thing. Nice, that kid's got a cool mask on. Oh my god. Jack, where do you get such wonderful toys? See, that's the thing, is like I guess you grew up in an area where that stuff was just available, because I had to search, like, for half the things that I have found, like, I had to search hell or high water. Like, when I got a copy of, like, Holy Mountain on tape from, like, it was at a video store that was going out of business, right? But they were still renting and selling their stuff. Like, and Holy Mountain was, like, Jodorowsky was this thing where it's like, dude, I can't find his movies anywhere. I couldn't go to Blockbuster and get this. I couldn't go to, like, Family Video. Like, I had to go to this one weird, like, local chain niche store to find one copy that was beat to hell. But it's like that, dude, it was tough even finding that. If you're finding like 3 copies of Albert Pyun VHSs, dude, holy lord. I know you didn't grow up in LA, but my god. Lucky. Dude, seriously. It's time to stop. Yeah, it's about time to stop for today too. Do we need dystopian fiction now more than ever? Because I'm pretty sure we're just living through it. Alright, we're going to listen to Art of Life here, and then we're probably going to be signing off momentarily. I'll tell you what. Listen, I might talk about movies and like how entertainment's bad now. But I can't wait for Bill and Ted 3. That movie is going to suck. And I can't wait to watch it suck. Because I don't care how stupid those movies are. I wish there were more like Hesh-inspired movies, in fact. Like there's one movie called Hesh. I know it's Hesher. Which is about a guy who likes, Metallica's Kill 'Em All. And Cliff Burton. And the movie it's basically just Little Miss Sunshine about a metal kid, which that sucks. Sorry, it's well enough made. I mean, it's Jason Leto. It's one of those guys, babyface motherfucker. The dude in Brick, that guy in Brick. He reminds me of Marty McFly without any of the cool features of Marty McFly. Jason Gordon Green? No, I don't know what that guy's name is. Anyway, there are not enough movies like with just Hesh elements like that, like dudes that just air guitar and stuff. I mean, obviously you can't do it because it's Bill and Ted's, but sometimes Scandinavia will make movies. Oh, what is it? Deathgasm was a movie. Like those movies, they're too on the nose. Like they're about metal. Like no, you need to make a movie about something else where the dudes in it are just accidentally sort of like Heshers. That's what I want to see. I guess I have to like try to make this, which I have no ideas about. Well, I guess I have a couple, but like I would definitely do a werewolf movie with metal dudes, but it wouldn't be about metal dudes and werewolves. It would be a werewolf movie, right? Where some of the characters were like straight up like old school death metal dudes. That's what I would do. No, I have not seen Dia de la Bestia. God of Beasts? Beast? What is that? Is that Beast? Have you just Spanished me Beastmaster, Jack? Is that what you just did? You better not. Let me crank this a little bit as we sign off here. Dia de la Bestia. Dia. El Dia de la Bestia. What? Black metal aficionado? See, it sounds like it's about metal. I just mean that it's, yeah, but it's, I should watch that actually. Okay, I'll keep this in here. Iglesia. Okay, you know, before I go, Jack, since I've got you here, there is an Italian movie that came out in like 2016, maybe it was 2014, and you might, I hope that you know it. It is like surrealist, maximum prism rainbow colored, about a guy who leaves town and whose wife is killed, and then they're figuring out how she died and why she died. But it's like it's an insane Satyricon level sort of like abstraction. Like it's Felliniowski is like this guy. I can't, dude. I've searched it on the internet. I've looked for like frames of the movie. Like I saw it. It was on a list. I think it was on my Amazon Prime list for like a year. And then it was just gone. And then like maybe last year I was thinking about it. I was like, dude, I want to watch that. It had hit me with such a wave of like confusion that now I want to revisit it and I can't. I have no idea what it's called. I have no clue. It's an Italian movie. That's why I guess I asked. It's an Italian movie. It's contemporary. It made some waves, but it's like a hyper-colored surrealist film, dudes in suits in interiors, again about a guy who's like, he's a politician whose wife is killed while he's away on a weekend. No, I'm not recommending it to you. I'm asking, I'm seeing like maybe you've seen it because you've seen everything. I mean, you're the dude that reminded me about Boxer's Omen, for Christ's sake. You kind of know the good stuff. You kind of have your hand around the throat of it. Your hand around the throat of that business, baby. Yeah, okay. Well, is this really Mickey Rourke, like, trying to fight Bobby D? Oh! Oh, no. No! No! Oh, no. Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely watching Dia de la Bestia. Dia de la Bestia. All right, y'all. Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to go watch Dia de la Bestia. Try not to get too discouraged, I guess. Everybody, in a general message of well-being and health and well-being. Delete your Twitter accounts, your anti-political ones, and stay safe. If the secret police show up, I don't know what to tell you. Nobody can tell you what to do. They're just out there. So let's hope it keeps going. Not that, but let's hope that we get to keep living and hopefully in a tyranny-free sort of situation. Anyways, love y'all, dudes. And follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. All the links are in there. But then I'm going to be streaming Chrono Trigger until the end, until I get Ghost of Tsushima. And I do that in the evenings, usually at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Love you. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Bye.